This is the Astros Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Houston Astros, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Starting to feel a little bit like Groundhog's Day for the Houston Astros as they have continued their trend early in this season of not being able to hit the baseball basically at all and get in any runs in any games to this point of the season. 5 games into the season, now a record of 2-3 thanks to another 3-1 loss to the San Francisco Giants tonight, and a total of 9 runs scored on the season through the first 5 games of the year. That right there is a recipe for disaster if you cannot figure it out like they have not been able to do to this point in a very small sample size of the earliest part of the season. Hello and welcome tonight to the Locked On Astros Postcast. I am your host, Michael Connor. If you are new to this show, hello and welcome. If you're wondering again, who is this guy on this channel? Brett and Eric, still here doing the Locked On Astros podcast daily. I am the Locked On Astros Postcast host. It has a new home this season, which is here on this channel. As soon as the game ends, we are live here every single game. If there is a game that comes up that we will not have a show for, I'll make sure I let you guys know ahead of time. But I always plan to do every single game and no scheduling conflicts in the near future, it appears. So we will be here breaking them down and hopefully breaking down some wins at some point, because I, like you, would like to talk about some good stuff and not the bad. So there's some good stuff that we can sprinkle into the show today, mainly some of the pitching stuff. But at the plate was no bueno. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's pretty darn cool. It'd be pretty darn cool if the Astros could win. And I said hit. I almost said hit there because I've got hit on the mind. It would be nice if the Astros could do anything at the plate. You know, I know that the easiest thing to do when we get into these kind of situations is to go, oh my God, the hitting coaches this, the hitting coaches that. And I'm not here to defend the hitting coaches by any means. We'll get to the hitting coaches as a whole here in a second. But I think what you're going to be talking about more than anything from this game is this.
This is what you'll be talking about.
I always like to mention it. Sometimes it is okay to tip the cap, game recognized game, give kudos to the other side. Logan Webb is one of the best pitchers in baseball. He was fantastic tonight. He did what he typically does. If he even gets a guy on base, he gets a ground ball, he gets a double play, he ends it. He got 3 double plays tonight. The only mistake he made was leaving a pitch, a 2-seamer, trying to get it outside, got too much at the plate, too far in, and Altuve deposited it into the first row of the Crawford boxes. So I can sit here and do that. I'm gonna go ahead and acknowledge Logan Webb as having a great game tonight. He was phenomenal. He is a problem when the Astros have faced him, and he was a problem all night for them. But then I'm also going to go look at it and say the other thing that I'm going to talk about from it is this is what drives me nuts. And again, I know that their off-season plan was to, get back to the fundamentals of having longer at-bats and taking more pitches and making pitchers work and do all these things, because last year they were uber aggressive and they just did not pan out. They were not what they needed to be last season at the plate. So they had this great idea for this season. And it was almost like tonight, when they went out there and are facing a guy, like I mentioned, in Logan Webb, who's one of the best pitchers in baseball. He throws this power 2-seam sinker that just is a ground ball machine. He does throw strikes. I need to look up his exact number on strikes tonight. He was 100 pitches, 68 of them for strikes. It was 100 pitches in 7 innings. I just didn't feel like they made him work enough. There was some first pitch swinging. Now, maybe that's, when you're facing this kind of pitcher, the game plan is to be a little bit more aggressive. But that felt like they let him get into a groove pretty easily tonight. Do something to change it up, maybe, to get him out of that. Because, man, this team right now, just 5 games in, like I mentioned. Hey, at least they had 7 hits on the night tonight. Yay. 7 hits. Guess how many extra base hits they had? Well, just the one, the Altuve home run. So that gives them a total now on the season of, what were they at? 3. They have 4 extra base hits through 5 games. Like, this could happen in the middle of the regular season, like in the middle of June. And we would notice it and we'd get irritated by it, but it's just so in front of your face when it happens the first 5 games of the season. Guys, like, I love to make fun of Dana Brown, the Astros general manager, constantly for using the back of the baseball card stuff when he says that. There is a little bit of truth to it. There's a reason the saying has been around for so long. Back of the baseball card does matter to an extent from the standpoint of when the guys don't get going early, typically they will find their way back to who they are and what the back of the baseball card says. We've seen it happen all the time. But, man, could we get one of their guys that matters big time to step up? I think Chandler Rome had the tweet earlier today. They asked at that point when Altuve hit the home run, Altuve has 7 hits on the season. The rest of the team had 14. I mean, Isaac Paredes he's had some moments, so I'll give him that, but he's done nothing overall. 188 through the first 5 games. Yordan Alvarez, 063. He's been horrendous. Maybe the worst I've ever seen him in a 5-game stretch. He's chasing everything. Christian Walker, no good. 150 through the first 5 games. Yainer Diaz, just as bad as Yordan, 071. Jeremy Pena looks fantastic in spring training. Hasn't translated to the first 5 games of the regular season. 125. Cam Smith, 182. Brendan Rodgers, he's played 3 of the 5 games, 111. Chas McCormick's actually 500 on the season. Not playing a lot, but he's got some hits. And then the magic from Joe Espada seems to always show up when it comes to pinch hitters late in the baseball game. And Victor Caratini grabbed a hit in his at-bat coming in there. And then, of course, being lifted for Jake Myers for the pinch runner there in that situation. So I'm staring at I just gave you all those numbers. It's Altuve at 389, McCormick at 500 through 5 games, and then the rest of the guys are below 200. And you got a couple of big boys that are important to you that are below 100 in 5 games. Like, guess what you're just not going to do? It truly is remarkable that they have won 2 games this season based on the number of runs that they've scored. That gets to the pitching. We're going to talk about the pitching in just a few minutes. We're going to talk about the pitching that you got tonight that gave you that chance to win the baseball game once again. But can I get Yordan Alvarez to not look like a complete zero up there tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon, early afternoon, or late afternoon, excuse me. I think it's a 3:10, 3:15 first, 3:10 pitch tomorrow. So we'll be live with you 6 something tomorrow evening. Can he do that? Can Yainer stop flailing the sliders 4 feet off the plate? I know that he's always going to do that because he is a free swinger that loves to swing outside the zone. He swings at everything. But can I get one of those guys can I get Christian Walker? I know that he has had some bad luck, which happens in baseball. He's hit a lot of rockets in the first few games that have just been outs. He didn't look dangerous tonight. I know he had a hit early on, but he hasn't looked that dangerous overall. Give me something that I can come onto this show and grasp onto and not have to worry about fire the hitting coach. I'm telling you guys, the hitting coach does not matter as much as you think. The hitting coach coming in will not change this offense. It just won't. All these guys work with their own people. The hitting coaches are there to monitor, to help them when they see something on tape. Like, they do work with them, but I am telling you, that's not going to be a fix. It gets back to who the players are and some of the things we've gone over. And I think this team is more susceptible maybe than any Astros team we've seen in recent years to where they're going to be susceptible to stretches like this, where they go out there and aren't able to hit the baseball, touch the baseball at all. It's not fun to watch. We'll talk about the one good thing of the night tonight overall next when we return to the Locked On Astros Postcast. March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories and even who's cutting down the nets. It's easy, fun, simple to use that FanDuel app, and when you win, you get paid instantly. There's no waiting around. So visit FanDuel.com and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. And one more message before we get back to our discussion on the Astros dropping another one tonight to the San Francisco Giants 3-1. They lose the series to the Giants. We will get back to that in a second. You can get supplies, the supplies you need from the site that's made for the skilled trade Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400-plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage, and now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Locked On Astros Postcast continues after the loss to the San Francisco Giants by a final of 3-1. I am your postcast host here on the Locked On Astros channel. My name is Michael Connor. Thank you for joining me. Appreciate you guys, as always, stopping by. Of course, if you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button. This show is always live when the games end, and you can hang out with us again tomorrow night or tomorrow evening when the Astros get wrapped up against the San Francisco Giants in the finale of this 3-game set as they will look to salvage one game out of it. Boy, oh boy, that would be fantastic if they could pull that off, because watching these games when they lose like this, it's not fun. It's just not fun. I'm a lifelong Astros fan right here, like all of you guys, most of you guys that are watching now. I've been spoiled like the rest of you with all of it, and I want to continue to be spoiled. I don't want to go through a season that makes me bang my head against the wall. And I'm not saying that I think that that's going to happen by any means. I don't. I just see some signs that we saw from last season that still lingering a little bit that I don't love. And it's okay. Hopefully that will change here in the very near future for this baseball club. But they get hot. If they get hot and they play to their typical, ways, I think that that's something that would make us all happy. Let's talk about the positive, I guess, here tonight. And really the positive for the first 5 games of the season. I've talked about this before. I've read and I read some things at times. National media, I don't pay a lot of attention to what the national media has to say about the Houston Astros because they don't sit there and pay attention at all to what goes on a daily basis. Before the season, I saw a few people write some stuff about how the starting rotation looks like it's going to be really bad. And I was reading it and I was like, I can understand thinking that the rotation is not going to be as great maybe as has been in years past. But, I looked at the rotation and I thought this is going to be solid. And what they just did through the first turn through it was fantastic. They all went out there and they gave their team a chance to win every night. They all went at least 5 innings. They all gave up 3 runs or less. And Fromber and Spencer Arrighetti were both tremendous in their starts. Fromber was 7 shutout, of course. Spencer was 6-1. Hunter Brown was great overall. 6 innings, 3 runs. 2 of them were earned. Ronel Blanco last night, 5 innings, 3 runs. Wasn't spectacular, but gave you a chance to win. And then Hayden Wesneski tonight, he spun it really well. I thought it was really interesting to see him go out there and pitch his first game in the city of Houston as a Sci-Fair graduate, and he gave the Astros, he's the tough luck loser because he gave his club a chance to win. 5 innings, 3 runs, 2 hits, 6 strikeouts, 3 walks. Gave up the 1 home run, of course. The walking the 8 and 9 hitters in that spot when he did not set him up for success. But again, it just, they gave themselves a chance in every game through the first 5 games with their starting pitching to win baseball games. And that's all you can ask for. So if that continues, for as down as I feel right now offensively, if they reach a point where they can score 5 runs in a game, like they probably can win that baseball game because their starting pitching is going to do enough. And so far, so good overall for the bullpen. I know that they're always going to have their little wobbles here and there. Hader had his the other day. Abreu's had his. Contreras had his yesterday. Today they were good. Taylor Scott was good. Okert, who had a great spring, made the team. He was great again today. Brian King's been I get why they liked Brian King so much that they picked him up when they did. And those guys have gone out there and done their thing. And that's really impressive from what I've seen through the first 5 games of the season. What gives me optimism, about what is going on with this team moving forward. Now, with the bats, it just needs to translate over there. I do need to hand out this tonight. It's kind of hard on the night where you lose, but we'll give it to,
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
I'm going to go ahead and just give it to Jose Altuve because he hit a baseball that went for extra bases and went over the fence. It was either him or Hayden Wesneski. When you give him out in a loss, it's not very easy to say that, to do. It's not enjoyable for me to give out a player of the game in a game that you lost in, but I got to do it, right? So there you go. Jose Altuve, congratulations. 1 hit on the night. 1 hit went over the fence. He's 389 to start the season to the first 5 games. He showed up. None of his teammates have. Tomorrow they're going to wrap up this series. And look, I'm not a big early in the season must-win type of guy. This isn't must-win tomorrow night by any means. This is tomorrow afternoon. I keep saying tomorrow night. 3:10 first pitch. But this is one that they could really use. At least finish the homestand. Make it a 500 homestand. That's fine. Then get out to the road to the frozen tundra. They're heading to Minneapolis. For the life of me, still don't understand why they put a stadium outside in Minnesota where you have to play games in April and in parts of May that are freezing, and then in September and October when it's freezing. But that's their problem. And why do the Astros? It feels like every year the Astros get the Twins in April. I like to go meet up with somebody in the scheduling department for Major League Baseball and have a nice stern talking with them about this. Can we go back to them going there Memorial Day, having the Memorial Day massacre there in Minneapolis? That'd be cool. But tomorrow, you got to have it. 3:10, like I mentioned. Good news is that you got the right guy on the mound again to where maybe he could just repeat what he did in the first start of the season, which is give up no runs. And the Astros can scrape across their 2 or 3, hopefully, and get a win and get out of here. I need more than 2 or 3. I need a 6+ run game tomorrow in the worst way possible. And I know that you guys also need that as well. Fromber tomorrow will face Landon Roop for the San Francisco Giants, who are now 4-1 on the season. The Astros 2-3 with a loss tonight. Again, as soon as the game ends tomorrow, do not forget to join me live right here on this channel for the Locked On Astros Postcast, breaking it all down. What is hopefully a nice win for the Stros. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday night. We'll talk tomorrow evening right here in the Locked On Astros Postcast.